not a whole lot of professions where someone can just be like, hey, you're working over here now. So it's,
yeah.
I'm not sure, you know, exactly.
It's part of it, though. It's part of the sport. It's just how it is.
Well,
You look at it in a way, you know. It's just obviously once it happens, it's something you never went through before. So it's it's just part of the sport.
All right. So I'm gonna do the clap thing again.
Yeah, for sure.
The Red Wings are finishing up a 4-game West Coast road trip. For some, it may be their last games in a Red Wings uniform. It's trade deadline week. Who will stay and who will go?
Well, it's like Christmas morning for the fan base, and there's a level of excitement, there's a level of interest that you don't see at any other time during the year. I think it exceeds even the playoffs.
I guess for a player, it's not so exciting because you're always worried if you're on the bubble that you're getting traded, your family may be uprooted, kids out of school.
It's an unknown. You don't know what's going to happen.
As the Red Wings take another pivotal step in the rebuild, all eyes go to Executive Vice President and General Manager Steve Yzerman.
Well, I think Steve Yzerman, I think he's known around the league as an excellent trader and an excellent at managing his cap, and I think he's done this very well.
Well, I think you just have to look at the amount of draft picks that the Red Wings have had. As Steve and like Ken Holland like to say, you need as many kicks at the can as possible.
The more shots and more kicks at the cat that you have, the better chance that you have to develop guys that can be good, strong players for your organization going forward.
It could potentially be a very busy day, or it could be a very quiet day, depending on what we, I guess, have to offer, or what we're planned on doing.
Well, there's a big difference versus if we're home or on the road. On the road's obviously a lot harder. For this last one, we had to bring in on the road just a bunch of gear because we didn't know who we were getting, what they wore, helmet-wise, glove-wise, pant-wise, or anything remotely like that. So we brought a big bag of just what possibilities guys could be, because a large, extra large, medium, we had no idea.
Yzerman caught many by surprise last year at the deadline by trading Anthony Mantha for Jacob Vrana and Richard Panik, a 2021 first-round pick and a 2022 second-round pick.
No, I didn't expect it at all. I was actually in a coffee shop with Vitek Vanecek, a goalie from Washington. We were eating chocolate croissant, and then, I just got a call from Richie Panic. He said to look at my phone because I usually have my phone on the airplane mode. So I look up, I missed like 7 calls from the GM. I was like, oh my God, what's going on?
It was remarkable. He got back a player who was younger and had the same potential to score as Anthony Mantha did. Plus, he got a first and second round pick.
That's what I think sealed the deal for Steve. I mean, certainly, Vrana is a very attractive piece of the puzzle, and I think he's going to be an integral part of this rebuild. But also getting draft picks, so #1 pick from Washington that turned out to be Kosa.
Again, I think he was thinking about that. I'll bet when that was offered to him thinking, all right, I'm going to have a second first-round pick. Now maybe I can take the goalie. And I'm sure Steve would, joke around and saying, well, it just was circumstance and everything. But, it's funny how all those circumstances seem to pop up for him more often than others.
To be honest, at first it was kind of shocking because, I never went through stuff like that before.
It can be very, very shattering to families and lives because a lot of players, will end up in situations where even a year after the trade, their family is somewhere else and they're they're on their own.
If you come to a situation like the Red Wings are in right now in a rebuild, I think as a player you're rejuvenated.
I know it's a part of the sport. I look at it that way, and I look at it as a new beginning for me. Give people what they want, you know?
Well, the way I would describe Steve Yzerman is focused and intense and no nonsense. He will do whatever it takes to make the Red Wings better. That's why he will listen to anything, and if he thinks it's going to make the Red Wings better, he will do that deal.
With an hour till the deadline, the Red Wings remained open for business.
Steve Yzerman's strategy when it comes to trade deadline, very quiet, close to the vest, hard to get a word out of him. He's very methodical.
At the trade deadline, the Red Wings made 3 deals involving 4 players.
Detroit traded Troy Stecher to the LA Kings for a 2022 7th-round draft pick. Next, they traded Nick Leddy and Luke Witkowski to the St. Louis Blues for a 2023 2nd-round pick, Oskar Sundqvist, and Jake Walman, and sent Vladislav Namestnikov to the Dallas Stars for a 2024 4th-round pick.
Everyone can breathe again. It wasn't so much wow as it was, oh, Steve Yzerman didn't make any shocking deals leading up to the deadline that was Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock, but slow and steady, onward and upward, says the GM, and we're seeing more signs of that.
Well, you know, if you look at it, I think, you know, Steve pretty much said he traded everybody that had expiring contracts. If you really look at the moves that Steve did and you try to assess them.
I thought the Leddy deal was probably the most interesting deal, and it was complicated. You certainly had to read between the lines there. The Blues needed to move out a little bit of salary, but I think Steve was more than willing to do that because those 2 players that they were looking to move out could be of help to the Red Wings.
We'll get started with Oskar Sundqvist and Jake Walman. Please let us know if you'd like to ask a question. Start with Carly Johnson.
Recording in progress.
Welcome to Detroit, first and foremost. What do you guys think you add to this team?
I mean, my type of game is just speed, moving the puck up to the forwards.
Well, Walman is a guy that can move the puck, and I think that he is a guy that, you know, he's big, he has size.
Left side defense, and you give up Leddy, so you get the left side coming in.
They traded you like for a reason.
Sundqvist is an agitator. He's a pain in the rear end, as they say, and he likes to play the game that way.
And one of the things that Steve does, you know, he almost gives everyone auditions. He brings in these players and he sees if they like them, and I think they'll be watching carefully over the last 20 games or so to see if those guys kind of fit in their system.
You know I don't really say a lot, and I think a lot of times people it's very misconstrued that I'm up to something. I'm really not. We moved 3 of our pending unrestricted free agents, so pretty much went for the most part as expected.
The moves continue to set the Red Wings up for future success, with additional draft picks in the upcoming drafts as the rebuild moves forward.
Well, that the rebuild is ongoing, and I think the message is to fans is there's still a long way to go. And, you know, it's not like Steve Yzerman didn't warn everybody. He said this was going to take a while, and I think over the last 6 weeks, too, we've seen with this team that it's not as ready. I think there was improvement that we've seen this year. There was a stretch when they scored 3.5 goals per game, but there was never a stretch when they played really well defensively.
One of the best ways to get better defensively is to add good players that play 200 feet. And we've talked about the need to get better defensively, and certainly adding a really good 200-foot player will help that.
Whether you're on the Red Wing roster now, or whether you're a prospect in Europe or at the college level, or if you're playing in Grand Rapids, or even if you're on the Toledo Walleye, I think Steve pretty much sent it out and said, look, virtually almost every job on this team is still open.
With the deadline now behind them, the team makes its way to the season's finish line with still plenty to prove.
We've traded a couple good players, so there's some roles open up that way. We've had some injuries, some roles open up that way. And now they got to go out and prove it and prove that they can help this team win and not just be guys that can play in the NHL.
It's a great game. It's a lot of fun, but it's a business. And they understand, these players today, the business side of the game of hockey.